Now on Coast TV News.
Demolition Day approaching. The preparation in Rehoboth Beach to take down some long-standing businesses on its boardwalk and why this will be a lengthy project.
Wildfire widens watch the improving efforts in New Jersey in containing a fire that had grown to over 1,200 acres.
Fixing Fenwick roads, the plan to get troubled areas repaired in time for the start of the summer season.
A cooler start to the week for Delmarva with dry conditions. Then warmer on Tuesday, a slight chance of showers in the morning, then dry and mild the rest of the week. Details coming up.
This is Coast TV News Today.
And breaking news this morning, if you are just joining us, reports out of Vatican City say that Pope Francis, on the day after Easter, has died at age 88.
He was elected as Pope in 2013 after Pope Benedict retired. Francis was the first Jesuit Pope, the first Latin American Pope, and the first Pope from the Americas.
The announcement was made by Cardinal Kevin Farrell, stating, and here is the quote, "At 7:35 this morning, that would be their time in Italy, the Bishop of Rome, Francis, returned to the home of the Father. His entire life was dedicated to the service of the Lord and of his church."
Pope Francis's passing occurs less than 24 hours after giving the traditional Easter blessing on Sunday. And again, Pope Francis died at the age of 88.
We're going to move on now to local news and demolition set to begin today in the nation's summer capital. Right now, fences are up on the north end of the Rehoboth Beach Boardwalk, preparing for that project on the Grottos and Old Motel. This is the first step towards building the One Rehoboth Avenue Hotel. That will range from Baltimore Avenue all the way to Rehoboth Avenue. Some people we spoke to living in Rehoboth Beach says the end product will be worth it.
Well, that's probably like a time where you wouldn't want it to start, but I think once they get it going, it'll be another great place for someone to stay.
And Rehoboth Beach has a ban on demolition starting on May 15th, so work will have to pause at that point. The work is expected to then resume in September when that ban ends. On a day when many continue their Easter break, we're going to bring in First Alert meteorologist Bob Trahey with a look at First Alert weather for this Monday. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Matt. We're looking at a cooler start to our week. And what a weekend we had. We had 80s on Saturday, a little cooler yesterday, and a little cooler this morning, but not too bad. We're looking at temperatures in the low to mid 50s right now. Out the door in Redden, 51. So a heavier jacket, perhaps, but nothing too heavy. 55 Ocean Pines, 53 in Bethany Beach and Rehoboth right now. We have an onshore flow. Winds coming out of the southeast, so that will keep us a little cooler at the coast today. A little warmer inland. As we're looking at some clouds, we're mostly cloudy right now. Not expecting anything in the way of rain, but around high pressure, we are seeing this southeast flow. And once again, that will keep us a little cooler. So we're in and out of the clouds today, mostly cloudy, warming through the 50s this morning. And then by afternoon, upper 60s inland, but at the coast, much cooler, 50s to around 60 there as we continue with that flow out of the south and southeast. Day part forecast, more clouds and sun, and a little breezy, especially at the coast. Warms up tomorrow, up and down temperatures for the week ahead. Not many rain chances. Details coming up a little bit later in the newscast.
Bob, new overnight crews are working to contain a wildfire burning in southern New Jersey. Officials say that wildfire began at the Peasley Wildlife Management Area in Vinland on Friday and continued into Sunday. On Saturday, officials shared that the fire had grown to 1,200 acres and was reported at 75% contained. In an update on Sunday, the amount of acres burned increased to 1,250. The cause of that fire is still under investigation.
Changes happening today at the Route 1 and Route 16 intersection in Milton. According to DelDOT, lane shifts will take place. New west side ramps are opening. This will improve flow between those two roads. The signal on southbound Route 1 will be removed. The light for northbound traffic stays in place for now. This is all part of Phase 4 of the Milton Overpass project, a $23 million effort expected to wrap up by the fall.
Developing news out of Ocean City, where the tax cab business Century Taxi is attempting to get a 30% increase of fares. They say the current taxi fee and regulations predate the development of rideshare businesses like Lyft and Uber. Like nothing, those are regulated the same way. Earlier this month, the town's police commission recommended approving that increase, an increase that is scheduled for review tonight by the mayor and city council.
In Maryland, one man is dead after police say they shot and killed him after he stabbed 2 people in Prince George's County. Now, police say the man was also set the victim's apartment on fire. People in there were in critical but stable condition. More than an hour after the stabbings, police found the man at the National Harbor waterfront where the deadly confrontation took place.
Officers discovered 2 victims, a man and a woman, with critical stab wounds. Before fleeing that scene, the suspect also set fire to the apartment. Officers learned the stabbing was domestic related and the suspect was known to the victims.
And the Maryland Attorney General's office is investigating the officer who was involved in the shooting.
New this morning, focusing on paving the worst roads in Fenwick Island. First, last week plans were debated on which roads to tackle before Memorial Day weekend. Right now, the roads under consideration are south of Schultz Road and a part of Bay Street. And if there is money left over, more road projects could be added.
Based on conversations we were just having and the way the bids came in, we may be able to do all of Bay Street this year. Wright Street and McWilliams are all the 2 locations that are being considered, as well as Ebb Tide.
And right now, paving is scheduled to begin April 28th and end on May 15th. The latest work will be between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m., and that will be Monday through Friday.
Here's a live look at the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen is making the rounds on national shows after returning from El Salvador. It was there he showcased his meeting with alleged MS-13 gang member Kilmar Abrego Garcia. We learned last week that his wife had an order of protection against Garcia for a month in 2021. NBC's Alice Barr shows us the latest in that legal battle, including the Supreme Court ordering the Trump administration not to deport Venezuelans under Alien Enemies Act.
And we're getting them out.
President Trump's immigration policy again colliding with the courts after the Supreme Court paused the deportations of another group of Venezuelan migrants and alleged gang members. Lawyers representing the men say they're being denied hearings to argue their case, something the High Court previously ruled was required to deport under the Wartime Alien Enemies Act, which the administration wants to resume using, asking the justices to lift their hold.
I'm not arguing right here that nobody should get due process. I'm just saying there's a different process under Alien Enemies Act.
2 conservative justices dissented with the court's pause, calling it unprecedented and legally questionable. President Trump again slamming the federal courts for derailing his immigration actions to stop what he called a sinister attack on our nation. Critics like Senator Chris Van Hollen, who visited, mistakenly deported Kilmar Abrego Garcia in El Salvador, whose release the Supreme Court ordered the Trump administration to facilitate, accusing the president of focusing on gang allegations over due process.
If you deny the constitutional rights of one man, you threaten the constitutional rights for everybody.
Meanwhile, the administration facing new controversy over Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth sharing sensitive information ahead of U.S. military operations in Yemen last month in another Signal group chat, including his wife, his brother, and personal lawyer. They both hold Pentagon jobs. That's all according to 2 sources with knowledge of the matter. It was first reported by the New York Times. The White House saying there was no wrongdoing and no classified information shared. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
We're just getting started in this hour of Coast TV News today.
Yeah, coming up, Milton Crosswalk creations, how some intersections are going to look a little different in town.
Also, Dagsboro debates ordinances. We'll tell you what 2 proposed changes are center stage at today's council meeting and how one could impact new development in the town.
And Lewis Art Update. The city's looking to move forward with its art initiative. All that and more as Coast TV News Today continues.
It is 5:11 on a cooler Monday morning. Bay Health Cam in Dover, 55 degrees for you. And we're seeing low to mid 50s across the region right now. So cooler than the weekend, but not an especially chilly morning. As we're looking at a southeast wind right now, that'll pick up with time. We're looking at mostly cloudy skies right now. Nothing in the way of rain as high pressure sliding away and that flow is coming in out of the southeast. That will keep you cooler at the coast today. A little warmer inland. Here's a drive cast this morning. It gave it the green light, clouds, but dry roads, cool and cloudy conditions. And then for the PM commute, we're looking at still dry roads and mild conditions with temperatures into the 60s and low 70s.
New overnight storms have brought heavy rain, lightning, and wind to parts of Missouri, caused serious damage Sunday. A trailer home was damaged after a tree fell on top of it. A woman was inside at the time along with her 3 dogs, but luckily no one was injured. Rising floodwaters are also a concern in that area, and forecasters are concerned the flood threat could last several more days, with water levels in low-lying areas expected to remain even after the rain slows down.
Happening tonight, we're expecting an update in Lewis about the Art in Bloom initiative. For the past 9 years, the city's been organizing the placement of art in public places. According to the presentation that we've been looking at, the Parks and Recreation Commission will receive progress reports on the murals throughout Lewis and sculptures, too. This is at tonight's commission meeting.
Capital One and Discover are one step closer to merging and becoming the largest credit card company in the U.S. 2 key regulators have approved Capital One acquiring Discover, and that helps pave the way for the merger's completion. To get full approval, Capital One must provide the Office of the Comptroller of Currency with a plan to address several issues. The all-stack deal was first announced over a year ago.
Home Depot expanding its store count in 2025 despite uncertainty about the economy. The retailer says it's adding 11 new locations in the U.S. this year. New stores are opening in Arizona, Texas, New York, Virginia, Florida, and Washington State. Home Depot currently has more than 2,300 locations in North America.
We're looking at 53 degrees right now in the Spice Brothers camp in Salisbury. Dry conditions this morning. A cooler start to the week for Delmarva. Then a warmer Tuesday, and then mild the rest of the week with just some slight rain chances expected. I will time out those rain chances in my full forecast in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
Time is 5:16, and you are now looking live at the bright lights of Salisbury on this Monday morning. And Bob, you are tracking a slightly cooler day than the ones we experienced over the weekend.
Oh, yes. How about Saturday, Matt? I mean, it was gorgeous. We had temperatures into the 80s. We were in the 70s yesterday, and it will be cooler today thanks to an onshore flow. I think we'll see a lot of clouds as well. Cooler, especially at the coast, a little milder inland. And then as we go into your Tuesday, a few showers early with the cold front, otherwise clearing. I think we could see highs near 80 degrees. Really depends on the timing of a cold front. But right now, out the door, not too bad. 52 in Rehoboth, 53 at Bethany Beach, 53 in Salisbury, 54 in Seaford and Georgetown right now. So just a windbreaker out the door pretty much, as it's not all that chilly. And we have a southeast wind, not especially strong now, but it'll pick up as we go through the day, as we're looking at mostly cloudy skies across Delmarva right now. We have high pressure beginning to shift offshore, and around that high we have the southeast flow. So anytime we have this flow off the ocean, it's a little cooler, so that will keep us a little cooler today as we have clouds moving in. Nothing in the way of precipitation. There is a warm front to our south and west. That'll move through tonight, ushering in milder air, and that's ahead of this cold front back to the west. Right now it has showers and storms along it, and as this front heads our way tomorrow, it could kick off a few showers in the morning hours. Futurecasts this morning, we're in the 40s and then into the 50s mid-morning by 9 a.m. Upper 50s inland, but at the coast, cooler 40s and low 50s. So you'll be cooler at the beaches today at noon, 50s at the coast with 60s inland, mostly cloudy skies. By 2:30, it could be up to about 68 in Salisbury. Millsboro is 64, but you can see it's much cooler at the beaches with that onshore flow. Then tonight, as a warm front lifts through, the winds turn more out of the south and then southwest. Shortly after midnight, we're looking at clouds, maybe a little bit of drizzle, and by 4 a.m. Tuesday, maybe a few showers as that warm front is lifting through. And we're looking at temperatures in the morning into the 60s. Could be a little bit of a period of rain as we go into tomorrow morning with temperatures in the 60s and 70s. Maybe by noon, still some rain hanging on around Maryland and southeast Delaware. And I think we do warm up into the mid to upper 70s and then cool down into the afternoon behind a cool front. As the winds are southeasterly now, they become more southerly tonight and then more southwesterly tomorrow morning behind a warm front, and then more westerly as a cold front moves in. Paul Davis 7-day forecast, 68 today, mostly cloudy skies, a few morning rain showers on Tuesday, 79, and then we keep it pretty mild Wednesday through Friday into the lower 70s, a mix of sun and clouds, and overnight lows into the 40s and 50s, not too bad. Late Friday, we do have a chance of some showers building in, a better chance for rain on Saturday, and maybe some thunderstorms in a high of 76. Congratulations to Nicole Dubs from Fruitland, Maryland, on winning a new umbrella from Paul Davis Restoration and Home Remodeling and Coast TV.
Thank you, Bob. Many people are back to work after the Easter holiday, and here's what the Bay Bridge looks like right now as drivers head back to Delmarva, or maybe they're heading on vacation if their spring break started a little later. As you can see, there are a couple of cars and trucks on that road. Nothing too crazy right now.
Yep, calm conditions there. And happening today, Dagsboro officials looking to crack down on disturbances across town with something called a public nuisance ordinance. Town officials define a public nuisance as anything posing a threat or disturbing the peace, with examples like noise violations, disorderly conduct, or alcohol violations. Town leaders say it will help give police officers a guideline for enforcement if any issues arise. People living in Dagsboro, they have mixed opinions about this.
I don't think it's necessary. We live in a really quiet town. My daughter and I walk these streets all the time.
There may be some people in certain areas might have problems. It's just peaceful.
A public hearing on the ordinance will take place at the Dagsboro Town Council meeting, along with a possible vote to place a moratorium on development applications.
Up next on Coast TV News today, Milton Crosswalk Creations will tell you when and where to expect beautification on the town streets. Don't go anywhere.
Happening today, Milton Street's getting a bit more colorful. According to the town, the crosswalks painting project at Federal and Mulberry Streets, that starts today. The project is expected to finish on Tuesday.
New this morning, an opportunity for young entrepreneurs. Salisbury is hosting a youth business fair for people ages 8 to 18. This event allows kids and teens to present their business to the community and sell their products. Registration is now open, and that youth business fair takes place May 24th at the Newtown Community Center. And coming up this Friday and Saturday, head on over to the Harrington Fairgrounds for the DSN Outdoor Expo on Friday the 25th from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. and on Saturday the 26th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The DSN Outdoors Expo at Harrington Fairgrounds is this weekend.
Well, we all enjoy the Easter holiday with our families at Coast TV, and we want to hear from you. This does bring us to our Coast TV poll. What Easter candy do you like the most? Let's take a look at the updated results there.
All right, well, I chose jelly beans, so it's clearly not the popular choice. Chocolate eggs at 51% is the highest choice, and 33% Peeps. Our producer, Alyssa, not happy about that.
She's very adamant about that.
She loves Peeps.
She's scolding those not
She said that's the only
Peeps.
option. Well, clearly, chocolate eggs. What did you pick, Matt?
I went with chocolate eggs. We just saw some votes change right there.
Wow, this is a tight competition.
Yeah.
We will check back in later with this.
Intense debate over it, too.
Absolutely. Well, please be sure that you vote over on our Coast TV app. Matt, this past weekend, it was perfect weather for being outside. I hope you grilled this weekend.
Did. Grilled some chicken, tried something new, came out okay. Bob, I had some reports from sources I know in Rehoboth Beach.
Okay.
Said it was pretty busy there this week, and I think the spectacular wetter had something to do with that.
I think so too. And I'm going with the chocolate bunny. Chocolate, I can't beat chocolate on Easter, so got to go with the chocolate. And it was beautiful weather over the weekend, especially Saturday with 80s and then 70s yesterday. Much cooler at the beaches for today. Fenwick Island and Ocean City, lots of clouds. Getting close to 60, not quite in Ocean City, around 58. I think you could get into the low 60s for a time in Fenwick Island. Feeling cooler with that onshore flow. Lewis, you're in the low 60s, a mix of sun and clouds. And heading up to Cape May on the ferry, definitely need a windbreaker. And Rehoboth, I think you're near 60 for this afternoon. UV index low because of all the cloud cover. You're warmer on the eastern shore. Cambridge close to 70 this afternoon, and upper 60s in Crisfield, about 1 to 2 foot waves on the bay. We're looking at a warm up tomorrow and then milder temperatures the rest of the week with some slight rain chances. Much more on your forecast coming up in the next half hour.
Break on Coast TV News today, smoothing things out. Fenwick Island wants to repave some beat-up roads.
Also, taxi talk in Ocean City. What could change about that option along the Worcester County coast?
A demolition project taking place in Rehoboth Beach as 2 buildings are knocked down. A bigger one will take their spot. Coast TV News today. We'll be right back.
Now on Coast TV News.
Coastal Construction Countdown. With fencing up on the Rehoboth Beach boardwalk, the demolition project scheduled to begin today.
Route 1 realignment. We look at some of the big changes resulting from the project near Milton.
Taxi trouble brewing. Ride 1 service in Ocean City is asking for an increase in fares.
A cooler start to the week for Delmarva with dry conditions. Then warmer on Tuesday, slight chance of showers in the morning, then dry and mild the rest of the week. Details coming up.
This is Coast TV News Today.
We are now taking a live look at Vatican City. People are beginning to mourn the death of Pope Francis, who passed away at the age of 88.
Yeah, it's our breaking news in this half hour. He was elected as Pope in 2013 after Pope Benedict retired. Francis was the first Jesuit Pope, the first Latin American Pope, and the first from the Americas.
Toward the end of his life, Francis battled a host of health issues that left him weak and often forced him to rely on a wheelchair or canes. Most recently, he struggled with pneumonia, and at times he needed his aides to read his speeches because he was out of breath.
Pope Francis' passing occurs less than 24 hours after giving the traditional Easter blessing on Sunday. And again, Pope Francis dead at age 88. As we move on, demolition is set to begin today in the nation's summer capital. Right now, fences are up on the north end of the Rehoboth Beach boardwalk, preparing for that project where the grotto and old motel is. This is the first step towards building the One Rehoboth Avenue Hotel. That will range from Baltimore Avenue all the way to Rehoboth Avenue. Rehoboth Beach has a ban on demolition starting on May 15th, so work will have to pause at that point, but the work is expected to resume in September when that ban ends. We're now hitting 5:31 on this Monday. We do have a nice start weather-wise to the week. We do,
and we came off of a beautiful weekend, and first meteorologist Bob Trahey is going to join us. Bob, it is a little bit cooler this morning, so you do want to grab a jacket if you're heading out the door.
Absolutely, and good morning to you guys. Indeed, it was a summer-like warmth over the weekend. 80s on Saturday, 70s on Sunday. Cooler today and out the door this morning. We're looking at low to mid-50s, so make sure you have a windbreaker. 53 Bethany Beach, Rehoboth 52, 54 in Georgetown, Delmar at 55. It is dry. We have an onshore flow, and that will keep you cooler today, especially at the coast. A little milder inland as we're looking at mostly cloudy skies. We're seeing some breaks in the clouds from time to time. Nothing in the way of precipitation. We have high pressure just offshore, and the flow around that high is bringing that flow in out of the south and east. So that will give us the cooler conditions for today. So 6 a.m. on a futurecast, we're in the 40s and 50s. And then by 9 a.m., upper 50s inland, but I think low to mid 50s at the coast as that onshore flow continues pretty much all day. By 12:30, we're looking at lower 60s along the 113 corridor, warmer to the west, but cooler to the east. And that'll be the case as we go into the afternoon. Warmer inland, maybe close to 70 around Salisbury, but I think we're in the 50s to near 60 at the coast as that breeze continues this evening, and it remains, well, I'd say, on the mild side. Ferry riding forecast, make sure you have your windbreaker, looking at lots of clouds and temperatures pretty steady in the 50s throughout the morning with a light southeast breeze.
Thank you, Bob. Maryland, one man is dead after police say they shot and killed him after he stabbed 2 people in Prince George's County. Police say that man also set the victim's apartment on fire. They are in critical but stable condition. More than an hour after the stabbings, police found the man at the National Harbor waterfront where the deadly confrontation took place. The Maryland Attorney General's office is investigating the officer who was involved in that shooting.
Changes happening today. This is at the Route 1 and 16 intersection in Milton, and according to DelDOT, lane shifts are occurring. New west side ramps opening to improve flow between those two roads. The signal on southbound Route 1 will be removed, but the light for northbound traffic, that is staying for now. It's all part of the Phase 4, the Milton Overpass project. It's a $23 million effort expected to wrap up by this fall.
In developing news out of Ocean City, where the taxi cab business Century Taxi is attempting to get a 30% increase of fares. They say the current taxi fees and regulations predate the development of rideshare businesses like Uber and Lyft. Also noting that those are not regulated the same way. Earlier this month, the town's police commission recommended approving that increase, an increase that is scheduled for review tonight by the mayor and city council.
Yeah, that warm weather we just talked about, towns along the coast are getting ready for waves of people and cars, and that includes Fenwick Island.
As CoastTV News reporter Kevin Zappe shows us, the town is looking to do a little pre-rush maintenance on the roads before the busy season is here.
Before visitors start heading into Fenwick Island, town leaders are looking to pave the worst roads in town. And Michael Madden, who lives on one of those busted up roadways, says they need it.
Repaving after all the flooding we get, it wears away at the asphalt. So it is a positive for us.
On Thursday, town leaders debated which roads to tackle before Memorial Day weekend. Right now, the roads under construction are south of Schultz Road and a small part of Bay Street. But according to Paul Caldwell, who's helping plan the project, depending on how much money they have left over from Fenwick Island funding, they might add more.
Based on conversations we were just having and the way the bids came in, we may be able to do all of Bay Street this year. Wright Street and McWilliams are all the two locations that are being considered, as well as ebb tide.
So when will all this start? Right now, paving is scheduled to begin April 28th and end on May 15th latest. Work will be Monday through Friday between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Madden likes the get it done now approach.
It's the best time before Memorial Day. You have much more traffic going up and down the street.
With the spring season in full effect, they won't have to worry about freezing temperatures getting in the way of the work. But there's still one issue they'll have to look out for. Now, since flooding is so common here on the bay side of Fenwick Island, they have to make sure that won't get in the way of them paving. I'm Kevin Zappe in Fenwick Island, CoastTV News.
We are now taking a live look at Washington, D.C. A new allegation accuses the Secretary of Defense of using non-government app on his personal phone to share military plans with family members. Three sources confirmed the group chat on Single earlier this year included his brother, personal attorney, and spouse. The two men work for the Defense Department. The Hegseth's wife does not. Sources say Hegseth used his personal phone for the discussion ahead of strikes on Houthi targets in Yemen. Signal is an encrypted app, but experts say military planning usually takes place in the Situation Room with as few people as possible.
It's putting the operation, those fighter pilots who are in the air about to conduct this operation, at risk with people that don't need to know this information.
And the Department of Defense Acting Inspector General is investigating another Signal group chat earlier this year that also involved the Yemen strikes.
We have a lot more news to get to. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, coastal water concerns. We'll tell you how the city is trying to alleviate concerns over increasing water and sewage rates in Ocean Pines.
Also, sunk after strong start, how the Phillies let a game slip away that they seemingly had in the bag in the 8th inning.
And temporary trail closure will tell you when you can expect maintenance to finish at one of Sussex County's trails. Stay with us on CoastTV News today.
Just about 5:39 on our Monday morning. Bay Health Cam in Dobra, 55. So on the cool side out there, but nothing too tough to take. Low to mid 50s across the area now. 53 at Bethany Beach, Georgetown at 54. Winds are calm inland areas, but we're starting to see a breeze picking up out of the southeast, and it'll be a cooler day as we're looking at mostly cloudy skies. Nothing in the way of rain today. Got high pressure offshore, that flow coming in out of the south and east. So here's today's checklist. You don't need the umbrella or a raincoat, but we'll see a lot of clouds out there. Definitely need the windbreaker. Sunscreen, yeah, I think the sun's going to be poking through from time to time. Always a good idea to have a warm beverage out the door on a Monday morning. And I grabbed the sunglasses because we will see some breaks in the overcast. Call the CoastTV First Alert weather phone, another way to get your forecast. Sponsored by the law offices of Brockstead, Mandalis, Federico.
Bob, maintenance is coming to Gordon's Pond Trail today. According to Cape Henlopen State Park, that trail will be closed from today to Thursday, April 24th. The park says this is for maintenance on the bridge, and officials say that trail is expected to reopen on Friday, April 25th. And also happening today, road work is coming to Ocean Pines. This is the area where crews will complete milling and paving work. That's Manklin Creek and Cathel Roads. According to Ocean Pines officials, that project is set to begin on April 21st with the closure of Manklin Creek and take up to a week to finish. Crews will work from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And the same work is starting today in Georgetown, according to officials. Crews will begin with Ward 1. The town says crews will focus on Lynch Way, West Way, Charles Way, and the Meadows today. People could see discolored water during that work, and the town says to run faucets until those issues are resolved. And in Ocean City, spring hydrant flushing is also already underway. It will run late night to early morning, going from south to north, beginning on South 1st Street. You may experience discolored water, but note it is not harmful. Just run that water until it runs clear, and flushing should end on April 24th.
The Brooms were out at the park on Sunday. The Phillies bats have also been out in this series against the Marlins, with the Titans scoring 18 runs and winning the first 2 games of the series. So we go to the 8th inning. The Phillies were leading in this one 4-2 on Sunday, and that's when the Marlins, Victor Mesa Sanajo, takes Orion Kerkering high, deep, and gone. 3-run homer, puts the Fish up 5-4. In the bottom of the frame, 2 outs. Cal Stevenson, the grounder. This bobble allows him to be safe at first. It also allows Nick Castellanos to tie the game at 5. That means we're going extra innings, and that is where the Marlins would score twice, including this RBI by Sanoa. It was a 5 RBI day for him. Phillies bullpen wastes a strong starter effort by Jesus Luzardo. Nationals split a doubleheader in Colorado, winning Game 1 over the Rockies. That's a benefit from 3 Colorado errors. The Rockies win Game 2 by a 3-1 score. No extra base hits for the Nationals in that game. It was not Bengals and Ravens. Yes, what you're going to see there, that is the correct final score. Here is the Reds' Ella De La Cruz with a home run. It's the first of 7 runs scored in the 3rd inning. Bad day for the Orioles. They couldn't even get a field goal in losing 24-2. On the Orioles farm, Shorebirds were shut out in the final game of their road trip to Carolina. Here in the 5th, the Mudcats' Josh Adamczewski with a double that drives in 2. Birds look to snap a 4-game losing streak when they return home to Purdue on Tuesday.
And coming up tonight on DSN, your game of the night at 8 p.m., Stephen Decatur faces off against Easton in boys lacrosse. Then catch outdoor Delmarva at 11 p.m. And Into the Trenches is back for its 3rd season this year. We followed the Cape Henlopen Vikings football team fresh off of its first state championship appearance in 40 years. DSN takes you to the practice field, inside the locker rooms, and on the sidelines as the team hopes to prove themselves once again amongst the top teams in Delaware Class 3A. Into the Trenches premieres Thursday, April 24th at 7:30 on DSN and DSN+. And most movie theaters show a few trailers for upcoming movies ahead of the main feature, but this week some audiences will get a whole lot more than the usual coming attractions. David Daniel explains this in today's Hollywood Minute.
Where would you guys like to sit today?
It's a movie preview marathon. This Tuesday and Thursday, the Cinema Foundation is screening a sneak peek showcase at thousands of North American theaters, with the proceeds going to charity. The nearly 70-minute program will include clips, behind-the-scenes footage, and previews of summer and fall films screened at this year's CinemaCon, the annual gathering of movie theater owners. Those films included the live-action How to Train Your Dragon, Ben Affleck in The Accountant 2, and From the World of John Wick, Ballerina. If big screen music is more your style, there's Pink Floyd at Pompeii 1972. The digitally remastered concert film is set to screen in select IMAX and other theaters beginning Thursday, with a full-length live album available for the first time May 2nd. The performance was the first live concert to take place in the ruins of the ancient Roman theater in Pompeii. Calling to you across the sky in Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
If you're having a rough week, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from CoastTV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up right now for free at coasttv.com and get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday.
We're seeing lots of clouds on our Monday morning, but it's dry, 53 in Salisbury right now, but it's cooler than the weekend. Boy, that felt like summer, didn't it? We're looking at a dry day today, a warmer day on Tuesday, and then the rest of the week is looking mild with slight rain chances during the week. Maybe a better chance of more storms and heavier rain by Saturday. I'll have your forecast details in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
The time is now 5:47 and we are taking a live look outside at Dover this morning. And Bob, I had to wear a jacket walking outside, a little bit cooler, but absolutely beautiful weather regardless this weekend. We are expecting a little bit of rain tomorrow, though not today, as you were saying.
Yeah, I think we're going to keep it dry today, Elisa. We'll see a lot of clouds. And as far as our rain chances go, the next several days, I think we're looking at a isolated to widely scattered chance of seeing some showers as we go into tonight and early Tuesday. Tuesday with a warm front. Then we're dry really the rest of the week. And then we see that go up the rain chances into Saturday, into the scattered range with showers and thunderstorms with a cold front. Temperatures now out the door, not too bad. Low to mid 50s, 54 in Georgetown, 53 Indian River Inlet, Ocean Pines 55, 55 in Seaford. As the winds are light now out of the south and east, but that'll keep us cooler, this onshore flow, as we go through the day. Right now we're looking at mostly cloudy skies, dry roads, not expecting any precipitation today. We do have high pressure just offshore, and the flow around that high is clockwise, and that's bringing the wind off the ocean out of the southeast. There is a stationary front to the south and west. That'll lift north and northeast as a warm front as we go through tonight. So we're going to warm up as we go into Tuesday, and then there's this cold front across the Midwest right now, and you can see some showers extending from Cincinnati through Memphis and down into the deep south. Some thunderstorms with it, and that cold front will be sliding through as we go into tomorrow. But ahead of it, I think we do warm up pretty nicely into Tuesday. So futurecast this morning, we're in the 40s and low 50s, mostly cloudy skies. Wind starting to pick up out of the southeast. That means you're cooler at the coast with 50s mid-morning, upper 50s inland to lower 60s around the noon hour, around 62 in Millsboro, even upper 60s in Salisbury. So the farther inland you go, the warmer it will be. But at the coast, you'll be in the 50s to around 60 as we go into the afternoon hours. I think we're a little warmer than these readings that you're seeing from Rehoboth to Fenwick Island. I think mid to upper 50s there, but around 65 in Millsboro, Seaford 68, 68 in Delmarva. And then not too bad as we go into the evening hours, 60s away from the coast around 6 with 50s and 60s at the beaches. Winds start to turn in more out of the south. We're going to see that warm front heading our way tonight. So we're going to see the clouds increasing shortly after midnight. We're into the upper 50s, and we could see a few showers beginning around 4 a.m. tomorrow. It'll be on the mild side with temperatures into the 60s. And with the cold front sliding through, we could see some of those showers from Salisbury to Berlin and Ocean City. While farther to the north, looks like it's a little drier across northern Sussex County. This isn't etched in stone, but we could see some lingering showers through the noon hour. And ahead of a cold front, I think we could get into the mid to upper 70s tomorrow. Then it starts to cool down as we still see some lingering showers around 2 o'clock. But by 5:30, we're in the 60s and 70s, starting to dry things out. And then as we go into today, we're looking at a southeast wind that's around 20 to 25 miles per hour. And then it's turning in out of the south and eventually the southwest as we go into tomorrow. That warms us up ahead of that next cold front. And then eventually the winds turn more westerly into tomorrow night. Looks like our next big weather maker is a cold front that moves through over the weekend. So if you have plans on Saturday, I think we're looking at showers and maybe some thunderstorms with this front as it sweeps on through. Then it looks like it clears out. It looks like we have a better second half of the weekend. Paul Davis 7-day forecast, 68 today, mostly cloudy, 79 tomorrow, mainly morning showers. And then Wednesday through Friday, a mix of sun and clouds, and temperatures pretty nice in the lower 70s. Then that chance of rain and storms on Saturday, 76. But then it looks like it dries out on Sunday, partly cloudy and 68.
Thank you, Bob. Route 24 drivers in the Lewis area. We have lane closures and new traffic pattern happening tonight on your screen. This is where the work's going to take place. There's nightly construction from 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. This is the final phase of intersection improvements at Route 24, Angola Road, and Robinsonville Road. That work runs through May 19th with nightly construction, and DelDOT is urging drivers to slow down in work zones and plan for minor delays when traveling through that area.
Neighbors in Ocean Pines feel they are getting the short end of the stick to help out with a county-wide deficit. Worcester County is facing an $8.5 million deficit in its water and wastewater funds. So the county is looking to its taxpayers to help pay that money back. A majority of county commissioners have proposed an across-the-board increase of $32 per quarter. But neighbors in Ocean Pines say they are not the main reason this deficit is happening.
To me, it's like all of a sudden asking somebody, well, can you make their car payments this month? You know, that's not our job to do it. And I think that our commissioners, I'm very disappointed in the ones who are pushing this because they want to try to do the expedient thing rather than the fair and the right thing.
And today, county officials are holding an information session to explain the water and sewer service rate increases in fiscal year 2026. People can head to the Berlin Library at 6 p.m. for more information.
We're starting to see some daylight in Milford on the Bay Health Cam, and we're seeing some clouds out there, but it's a dry start to our Monday. It's going to be a cooler day for Delmarva, then a warmer Tuesday, and then a mild rest of the week. The weekend could start a little wet and maybe stormy on Saturday. I'll have your 10-day forecast coming up next.
It is 5:55, and we're going to take a quick look at your forecast before you head out the door this morning.
Bob, you're tracking a nice spring day to start our week.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think temperature's pretty close to average. Not going to be summer-like this past weekend. Here's your day part forecast. We're looking at temperatures in the 50s much of the morning with lots of clouds, a few peaks of sun, expecting dry conditions, and then upper 60s for highs inland areas later on this afternoon, but much cooler, probably closer to 60 at the coast. Paul Davis, 10-day forecast moving into Tuesday. We're looking at mainly morning showers. I think it is going to be a brief warm-up with a high around 79. And then Wednesday through Friday, we're in the lower 70s with partly cloudy skies. Could be a little stormy by Saturday. We'll watch that 76. And then it dries out on Sunday, 68, and then mild and dry into next week.
And it is 5:56, so it is time to check in with our coastal pet of the day.
And today's coastal pet of the day loves sitting on the balcony on a beautiful day. On your screen is Mindy the Morkie. As you can see, she lives a simple life on the Eastern Shore, and Mindy was submitted to us by Jane in Berlin.
And we want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. Send us photos and tell us what makes them so special. You can take a look at your screen.
Yeah, if you do that, you've got that QR code there. The top of your screen, scan that to get your friends to us here, and then watch weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature. All right, well, coming up in our next hour, more on the passing of Pope Francis. We are expecting a special report from NBC News in moments. That and more when Coast TV News Today continues.